So, good evening, everyone. So, my name is Thisara. So, I'm going to get attached to DPIT. So, today I thought of sharing some of my learnings and things that I have experienced in my career. You guys hope it could be at some benefit for you guys. So the topic that I'm going to talk is identity delegation. So before going into the topic content, first go into some more information. So if I show you this particular ball, so do we know who is this ball? Nobody knows because there is no any information available. That means that ball has not shared any kind of information for us to know that who is that particular ball. So if I go into this one, obviously we know which person is Steve Jobs. So one of the famous person. So why we know that person? What is the reason? The reason is he has a lot of information shared on the internet and public area for us to know about him. So thing is this boy has no any shared information, and when you go there, so this person has a lot of information like websites, newspaper articles, YouTube influencers. So he has shared a lot of this information throughout the public area. So in identity, so there is a fundamentally identity. Fundamentally is that. So the basic concept is that identity is not what you are. So identity is means what you share. So that's the basic concept in identity. So going further, let's talk about identity in the software system. So we talk about identity and access management systems nowadays in the modern world. So if I take definition of identity and access management from Wikipedia, so it basically says enables the right individuals to access the right resource at the right time, right resource. So it's kind of like that I'm accessing a particular book in a library. So I'm the individual. So the resource is book and write that. So at what time I need to access that book and what's the reason. So that is what we do within the context of the identity and access management. So going beyond, there are many two concepts that we need to understand within identity and access management. Those are authentication and authorization. Authentication is basically the process of identifying who you are. So if I take this example, user is coming to the system, so we authenticate, afterwards we identify these Steve. So thereafter we go into authorization process. So in authorization we identify what rights you have. So in that case, he's an administrator and he has full access to all the resources. So if I have certain files like admin documents, home documents, so we need the properties like that. So if it is admin role, so we have to give access to all resources. So that is the authorization process. So let's talk about the traditional identity model that we used to develop in the old days when we were doing academics. So we develop user labels, we maintain details of users within user labels. So if we take that, we maintain user labels as well as user role tables. So user label will further break down into like we normalize that particular table into different tables based on requirements. So if I take that particular scenario, we are maintaining somebody else's information within our system. So that adds a lot of problems to our system, because if I take a particular system like, let's say, order management system, so this objective should be cater for the requirement of order management, not to secure, not to provide any security or any kind of activity related to the identity management. So it's a different domain. So that problem acts in the traditional identity mode. And yeah, so if I get this flow, so initially it gets protected resource, then we used to add username and password. So it is username and password. Server will be asking us to enter username and password, then we send username and password, then server returns the resource. So server holds all the identity information that uh, it needs to identify. And thereafter we will be discussing about what is delegation of identity. If I take this particular example, so let's take a particular process like that. We have a particular business system. Here we have administration, supply management, HR management, manufacturing, customer management, likewise functionality. In addition to that, we have separate component for identity management. We are in code implementation of somebody else. That means external to the business code. Where we could add some risk factors to the business in case of losing of information. So delegating of that particular function to a particular third party is known as identity delegation concept. So there are a lot of identity providers available on the internet. So we can delegate that particular function where the identity provider will be playing that particular role for us. Then why delegate? Why we delegate? Why we can't use traditional identity? So there are a couple of reasons. So if I take one by one, so first one is multiple passwords to one individual. So if we are not using just one system, we are using large number of systems nowadays on the internet. So for each and every system, it is very difficult to crack the password and the username because different we take different applications use different conventions for passwords because password links and there are certain special character requirements in certain web applications. So those are different requirements by application. So we usually have a problem of remembering password. And the other thing is duplicate of information. So if I am accessing 10 system, so my same information is available duplicated in 10 systems. So that one way tax duplication of information, that means wastage of storage. And the other way, it will be some way affecting to energy also, because in order to maintain that information on the electronic world, so we have to provide some energy. So there will be energy wastage there as well. And third one is administration. So we know when we need to maintain details of use, so we need to maintain the password, so password expiry time, and so there are various things that we need to administrate related to password use. So administration has a list there. So that basically adds, so it basically explains in this slide. So it's identity life cycle. So we create any other place. So that is the flow of creation of identity of data. Going deep in delegated identity, authentication and authorization has been granted to third party identity solution. So that is the main concept behind delegated identity. And secondly, the identity solution should be reliable and secure service. That's the next thing. So if we delegate it to someone else, if that service is not reliable, it's not secure, so if that particular service goes down, so nobody can access the services. That is one other point. And next thing, there are several protocols and technologies available which are used to implement delegated identity. So those are the famous ones. First one is SAML, Security Accession Markup Language. Second one is OAuth 2.0, this is one version. And OpenID is a protocol. OpenID Connect is a technology implemented on top of OAuth 2.0. So that is about implementation. So we'll go into one by one how they are working. So if I go into SAML, SAML is an XML-based markup language. It is invented by Overseas Secret Services public community. And version 1.0 is introduced in 2001, and version 2.0 is introduced in 2005. Due to certain security vulnerabilities, they have invented released a new version of SAML. And basic usage of SAML is popularly used for single sign and single lookup. So if we have access multiple services, so the service has to be looked up at the same time. So third one is attribute-based authorization. We'll discuss about that later. The other one is security web services. So we'll talk about those later. So if I take components of SAML is basically composed of 4 components. The primary component is assertions. Within assertions, we discuss authentication statements, attribute statements, and authorization statements. So if you take the good old day system example, so we used to maintain user details, user role details, and which user assigned to which role, kind of a particular manner, to decide which user has access to which role. So those information is basically available at the assertions level. So assertions are basically shared between multiple systems. So I'll show you how we use shared in going forward. And secondly is the protocol. So there are certain protocols that SAML is used to. So those are the protocols like HTTP, SMTP, FTP. So those are the protocols that we can use to share SAML based communication. So thirdly, bindings. Bindings in the sense. So we have set of assertions. So the assertion has to be communicated through which protocol. That binding we have to see. So that binding is basically recorded at the binding level. Finally, so we have a set of bindings. So which binding has to be sent in which channel kind of thing is basically defined by the profile level. That means combine of several bindings. Like for example, if you have 10 bindings over so those 10 things could be sent together. So likewise, processing has been happening there. And secondly, assertions are exchanged among sites and services using the protocol and bindings. And assertions authenticate users among sites. As I said, assertion details are used to authenticate. And so this is a basic component diagram of SAML token. So assertions are allocated here. So it is a code where we have authentication attributes and details. And second, we have protocol that we find to provide. And in addition to that, we have authentication service and metadata information attached to it. So going into SAML. SAML basically we have 3 main roles. First one is user. User who is looking to get identity verified for himself. Secondly, we have resource owner. Resource owner is the person who actually owns a particular document. Maybe I own that particular document. Owning system is the resource owner. Thirdly, identity provider. There should be a particular part who is SAML enabled, who can authenticate users' identity using different using kind of technologies. So if we take that in sequence diagram, it goes like that. So in browser level, browser sends a login request to the resource owner. So that means like I'm sending a particular request to a particular resource owner. Maybe let's say Amazon.com. So for Amazon, I'm requesting a particular book. So Amazon redirects, creates a particular SAML request token. That means Amazon and the SAML identity provider has a predefined contract between them. So Amazon knows what information it will be sent to the SAML identity provider to get a particular authentication. So those details are redirected as a SAML request token. So 2.0 redirect to the SAML identity provider. So at the identity provider level, it validates a token. It validates whether it is authenticated user or not. So thereafter, it redirects the response saying that this particular user is an authenticated user by encoding SAML response. So it is sending some kind of same SAML token, but it is in an encoded form. So it is basically redirected back to the resource owner. So at resource owner level, resource owner validates whether the response is validated or not. If it is validated, the resource owner grants access to the resource. That is the basic flow which goes in SAML identity flow. Right. So let's see some of the benefits of SAML. One benefit is user passwords never cross file, because we don't pass any passwords for the firewall, we just pass a particular token. Secondly, applications with no passwords are difficult. So we communicate without passwords. So it is very difficult. Third one is SAML SSO provide access to the web application or file, same as first one, no password. Finally, enterprise-wide architecture sound SSO. This is basically used for single sign-on concept implementation. Right. That's all about SAML. Next, let's see about OAuth 2.0. This is somewhat different technology compared to SAML or delegated identity. OAuth 2.0 is an open standard. It is a protocol of authorization. It is initially designed for authorization purposes, not for authentication purposes. But nowadays, authentication purposes also same concept has been used. And there are two versions, version 1.0 and version 2.0. And next, it allows third-party applications to grant access to specific server resources. So we see how that happens. It is designed specifically to work with HTTP. So in SAML can be worked with multiple number of protocols. But if you take both, one can work with HTTP protocol. So there are four roles in OAuth 2.0 identity verification scenario. First one is the resource owner. Same as in previous scenario, user who is looking for access. Next resource, host of the protector. So where that particular resource has been hosted, like client. The application requesting to provide resource to user. And next authorization. So I'll explain each and every role in the sequence diagram level. So in OAuth 2.0, in SAML we discussed about only one particular token, which has 4 different components. But in OAuth 2.0, we have just only 2 tokens. So first one is access token. Access token is basically allows user to get access to restricted data. So a particular token has been given, we can use that particular token to get a particular resource from a particular server. And secondly, same by client as parameter O. So we can send it to the resource owner as parameter O. And it has a limited time lifetime. So it is not lifetime is not too wide. So it has very narrow down lifetime for security reasons. Because if the access token has been exposed, anyone can request particular resource from the resource owner on behalf of you. And finally, it must be kept secret as much as possible due to that exposure reason. And refresh token, that means if access token has been expired, we have given another token for refresh token at the time of authentication. So refresh token can be used to get a new access token. So that's the purpose of refresh token. And used to renew the access token not sent by authorization server anytime. Usually, anytime we can't take it. Because in hacking attack, anybody can access a refresh token and use it to get a new access token. So until the original access token expires, server normally identity provider doesn't return refresh tokens. So we'll see more details in this slide. Let's say resource owner is me, and I have a client is, let's say, BCS. From BCS, I am trying to access a particular, let's say, from Amazon. So the client, that is BCS, sends a particular authorization code request to the authorization server. Authorization server may be any code 2.0 enabled authorization server who can provide access token and refresh token for a particular user. So when that is given, so when authorization for request has been done, user is not validated, authorization server will ask end user to login. In that case, he can validate that user is existing in authorization server and his credentials will be valid. So after that, user login has been given. So thereafter, user login has been validated. Then authorization for response has been sent to that. In that case, maybe this is. So after that, so they have the client has received particular authorization code. The client will be exchanging that authorization code to the access token. So client sends the authorization code and get the access token from authorization server. So that is number 6. After that, the authorization server will be returning access token and the refresh token for the consumption of client. So now the resource owner or the user can consume client that in PCS to access Amazon services using token. So he no need to again log in to access a particular business. So let's see plus and minus of 2.0. One problem is it is recommended to use OSTTPS since we are changing with access token. If in case that access token has been exposed, we can use for in hacking purpose. On behalf of you, if somebody is taken the access token, he can do a particular transaction on behalf of us. And security risk when access token has exposed. And disadvantages, sorry, advantages are allowed cross-origin resource sharing. Like, so I'm accessing some particular resource from BCS, but it actually get it from Amazon. So that is called cross-origin resource sharing. And security for resources. That is, it provides authorization for resources. Right. So that is about both 2.0. So we discussed 2 now. So final one is OpenID Connect. So OpenID Connect is basically developed on both 2.0. On both 2.0, we discussed 2 tokens. One is access token and the refresh token. So those are basically used to authorization purpose. But for authentication purpose, we don't have any token attached with OpenID. In authentication details, what we expect is user's email address and contact name kind of details are not attached with the OAuth 2.0 tokens. Access token is just for authorization. But OpenID Connect project is developed in order to add authentication feature for OAuth 2.0. So this is an open standard, open source, that's known as applicable framework. Single profile authentication, single ID to access multiple services. So that's the concept. Built on top of OAuth 2.0 allows to share authentication details. That's the main concept. So if we see the OAuth OpenID Connect sequence diagram, it goes like that. If a particular client is requesting a page, it redirects to the OpenID provider. So OpenID provider would be a provider like Google, Facebook. So it will be redirected to the Facebook, it will be redirected to the Facebook login page. So there you need to enter username and password. So it is validated in the Facebook. So after that, it redirects to the application. Then then Facebook will be giving a particular token. So that token is actually has refresh token, access token, and a special other token called ID. So there are three special tokens available in this OpenID Connect scenario. So this is the actual OpenID Connect token. So it has it is basically emulating over HTTP, since 4.0 is HTTP. And this is ID token. So this is basically coming from 4.0, refresh token and access token. And token type and expires to are the different attributes and that particular token. ID token is basically encoded form of JWT, JSON web token. So we have so JSON object we can send as token. So that technology is called JSON web token, JWT. So JWT token is actually encoded in here as ID token. That is how it is constructed. So if we go for the details of the ID token, it is basically constructed of JSON web token. It's an open standard. Securely transmit information between parties. Digitally signed using HTML symmetric key. That is public private key combination has been used to sign that particular token. Right? Because in here we have, as I told you, so we have authentication details here, not authorization details. That means sensitive data of the user, maybe email address, surname, first name, last name. So if we decode that particular code, it actually looks like that. So we have header. In header we have what is the algorithm used to encrypt that particular JSON token, and type is JWT. So this is the payload. In here we get name, and we have other attributes as well, email, first name, last name, record. So this is actually the payload, that identity payload that we use. So that part we are lacking in all students. So this is the signature verification part. So before communication in OpenID Connect, if I am communicating with some other person, we both have to share a particular secret key to decode that particular ID token. So that secret is mentioned like that. So it is something like that. Application and OpenID provider are sharing token. In order to decode that particular token, they have to share the secret. So in that case, if somebody is stealing the token, he can't do it. So identity information is secured in that. So this is a detailed token of OpenID token. Here subject email verified. If we get it from Facebook will send in the letter that email address is verified or not. And name, given name, family name, phone number, profile. So those are the entire set of details in ID token. So this is all 2.0 plus authentication details. So there is one other benefit in OpenID Connect. So when we receive that particular ID token from OpenID provider, so as I have shown you, it has expiration time. So that means when a particular request comes from the user, we don't need to always go to OpenID provider to validate whether this particular user is authenticated user or not. To check that, we don't need to go into the server because we already have details in ID token at the application level. So it reduces the network hits when people are using single sign-on. So that is one advantage achieved in OpenID. And when the ID token has expired, the application server can use refresh token to get new token from OpenID. So this will increase the performance of communication. And so far discussed about delegated ID. So this is something about federated identity. Federation is a way of communicating identity management solution. So nowadays we have a large number of identity solutions like Google, Facebook, Yahoo, etc. Provide OpenID providers. So when we combine all those things together, So that concept is called the federated identity management. That means we can use to log into a particular service any of our account. Let's say I have a Google account, someone else has Facebook account. Anyone can log in a particular service without registering that particular service. It's in the delegated concept. So certainly allow authenticate for any identity management solution. So it doesn't care about what is the solution, but it's implementation. It allows you to do. And there is economical advantage. So when we consolidate everything, so multiple use of resource, same thing that cost could be reduced, other thing energy consumption is reduced. So we don't scatter our details all over the world. So finally, reduced administration. So that is about delegated and federated. Finally, I'll discuss about some of the new technologies available in identity. One project is there from Eclipse called Begins. So it is suite of identity management solution. So Begins is not another protocol. As we have seen, OpenID, SAML, and 2.0 has their own way of implementing the delegated identity model. But if one protocol comes into the market as new, so the developers need to learn that. So there is a problem in that. So Higgins provide a solution for that. Higgins provide a particular framework where you can select whatever the identity technology that we need to use, and the underlying implementation has been taken care of in this framework. So it's a framework which allows developers to leverage protocols within application, password management for blocks, etc. OpenID. Developers are not required to proficiently in protocol implementation. So that is one advantage of using this. And built on concept of information card. So you may have seen in Microsoft card, Windows card, so we use information card concept. So the same concept has been used in Windows also. Cards are visual representation of digital identity, and so for that project there are supporters like IBM, Microsoft, some supporters, and there are similar products available like Liberty Alliance. So these are similar frameworks like these. Right. So there is one other decentralized identity protocol came in around 2005. It's called microID. So this is not no available. So due to the vulnerabilities in this particular implementation, you can actually construct a particular microID using Java calculation of user email address and get endpoint that you can access. So when a particular user access that particular resource on the server, so it calculates a particular microID and verifies that whether that particular microID is correct one or not. So that had a vulnerability. So it is no more available. It's no more available concept. But there are new technologies coming in to have decentralized identity solution back. Still they are in research level. So future of identity. In future, so we now people are more focused on more than humans, because we always talk about people. But rather than people, Internet of Things, like if we take, there are plenty of devices available. So they need to identify themselves on the internet. So this is one thing, and the other thing is bringing your own identity. So nowadays we need to add a particular comment on a particular site, that we don't need to specifically register on that particular site. So we can bring our identity. Like if we have Facebook account, we can log in. Google account, we can log in. So that is a concept of bring your own identity. And thirdly, flexibility of switching between identity. So here, so if my Facebook account is locked, then I can do a Google account login sensors. And authentication on wearable devices. So in wearable devices, there are sensors where they can identify who is the person wearing that particular device. So those are new technologies. And identity via biometric verification, like face recognition. So, and neurotypical patterns is statement like brain signals. There are devices nowadays available where brain signals can be read. So from that, the devices can 100% accurately identify the person. So that is about it. Guys, have any questions? Then hope you enjoyed. So thank you very much. So if you have any questions, you can ask later. So this is my mail address. It's my personal website. So thank you very much.